Well, my assessment is I have a whole lot of new players. So from that aspect, it's good because I get a chance to work with a lot of guys who've got good skill sets. Still in the process of learning right now and understanding it. The initial first group is doing pretty good, and the young guys are actually coming along pretty good.
Chris Steele, he participated at Florida for spring ball. How does that benefit him being here now and being a little advanced maybe?
I would assume that it's not new to him, and that's the biggest thing. So he's already been on the stage per se, so he comes in with a different comfort level. Aside from that, he still has to learn a new system, so that still puts him in the classification with all the other guys. But from a confidence standpoint and competing against our receivers, for an example, he would probably step in a little bit more comfortable and ready to challenge than, say, a true freshman who's for the first time going against the receivers and stuff.
What ways have you seen the youth in that corner group show through this first week or so?
Oh, it's coming along. I mean, it's too hard to assess, you know, because you have a good day, you have a bad day, and it's still so early, because the biggest thing you have to do when you're finalizing your thoughts is you have to have enough reps to make a good decision. Right now, they're doing well. They're improving every day. That's a plus. But they're still in a situation where the consistency is not there. So someone's doing good, you praise him, the next day he's bad. So is he good player or bad player? Too early to make that decision. He's got the potential, and I'm talking all of them, and he's got work to do. So we're going to continue going. But it is in an upward swing.
It seems as though Elijah has kind of stepped into one of the leadership roles just by default, given how few veterans there are among the corner group. What have you seen from him in terms of rallying some of the younger players? Elijah. Yeah.
The biggest thing about Elijah is he's got unbelievable skill set. And he's more of a leader by example than from a standpoint of play. Not necessarily a vocal guy, but he has great energy. The cool part about our group is, just like you said, they're all young, so they're all trying to be leaders. So it's not just one. You know, everyone's got a voice, and that's the cool part. I can't say he's the only one. There's 2 or 3 safeties. There's 1 or 2 corners. There's 2 nickels. Everyone's has the opportunity to be vocal, and right now, that's cool.
It seemed like Elijah was pretty vocal over there today.
Yeah, that's what he is. Yeah. He's got good energy. And I don't want to stop him. So.
Does that mindset lend itself to maybe being a #1 corner? You got to have that confidence.
He's got that potential. I ain't pulling that trigger yet. Everybody is still competing. You know, even the guys that are going with the ones aren't ones. And that's kind of how it's going to happen. I'm going to keep rotating throughout the course. But as of right now, guys are working. Guys know that positions are open, and they're competing.
When you get to the season, do you envision having 2 main corners or like a rotation of 3 or 4?
I don't make that decision. So basically what I tell my guys is there's 2 things that make a starter. Consistency makes a starter, then comes playmaking. If I have 2 guys, that's great. If I have 3, then you're forcing me to rotate. So they're the ones that are going to make the decision, not me, but they know what the rules are.
We talked in the spring about the areas where Isaac needed to come along a little bit, technique and everything. Have you seen his development there since the spring?
Yeah, he's doing a good job right now. He's holding it down. For safeties, obviously the biggest thing is always, Isaac. He's gotten way better. Things that I've seen is he's worked really hard on his press, still has work to do. He's such a long strider. He's worked really hard on getting better at those fundamentals, as well as his basic back there. He's not necessarily further along as most of the other guys who have backpedaled and played corner throughout his career. He's still in the learning process. So he's got a longer curve to get to, but his curve isn't good.
When did you find out yesterday about Chris Steele? And what do you think
he's doing good, man. He's doing good. If I'm not mistaken, yesterday was the first day I put him to the other side. I went 3 days with corners on the right, and then I swapped them. So after practice 3, so practice 4, today's 5. Today's their second day on the other side. I need to see what they can do on the other side. His first day on the opposite side, he did really good. And he said, Coach, this is honestly my best side. So that's good. He's getting to work. But now that he said that, I'm going to make sure he works the other side.
How much will you continue to flip the corners throughout the camp?
My goal is to flip the corners every 3 days and flip the safeties every 4 days. And it's just so I know that they're comfortable on both sides, and I can assess their skill set so I know what to get them to improve on as they go along. And then for the safeties, the same thing. They need to know how to play both sides positions, so that if anything happens, I can intertwine anyone as I see fit.
Steele's gotten a lot of flags on him. How do you coach that out of him?
Yeah, I'm gonna figure something out. I'm gonna have to put some boxing gloves on or something. But he's there, and the biggest thing he needs to understand is he doesn't even have to. He's there. He's got the quick twitch. He's in position. He doesn't need to. And I just got to show it to him over and over again. I'll get creative, but first off, it's just talking to him. It's just a mindset.
What kind of a boost was it to find out he was going to be eligible for you?
Good. I'm not going to be bad. Darn. It's a good deal.
Do you manage his reps any differently now that he's eligible as opposed to when he was?
Everybody got the same thing. And I was doing that. It was the same way. You know, every guy's going to work their way through, and if I start seeing them move a little bit, I'll give them a chance to go at the ones to see how they act, to see what the chemistry is like with this particular group. So I'm working my way through all of that.
What's the biggest?
And injuries will help too, just for the fact that if somebody's down, I can.
There's, you think, this was a position of, not enough depth and not enough experience and all that. What are you seeing out of the secondary right now?
It's depth now. It is still not necessarily a lot of experience, but at the same time, I have to say that they're working hard and they're coming along. I can't change the experience. I mean, it's going to have to come as we go. But they're working hard. They're putting in that extra time. So I would expect and anticipate that we'll be ready.
Are they playing with more experience on the field than maybe they got on paper?
Say that one more time.
Are they playing with more experience on the field than maybe they have on paper?
I'm going to say it's a little bit of both. I think they're getting an idea from a paper standpoint what to do, but now they have to play up to the speed when they're on the field. They can answer the question of what's your responsibility, but can you react to that responsibility when you're on the field? They're working through that. And the only answer to that is reps and time. And I can't control that.
Thank you, Coach.